For those who are unaware, Jozwowski, aka OldManMurphy, also known as Well Hey Productions, was a prominent figure in the Creepypasta community around about the 2010s, when he would not only appear as a guest narrator in videos by the top narrators at the time, but he would also go on to run the central hub website for these narrators. Jozwowski started out older than most people involved in the fandom. He often tried to connect with younger fans in the community by not only narrating creepypastas, but approaching Five Nights at Freddy's content and much more. Joe was so entrenched in the creepypasta community that in 2014, when two girls would bring their friend out to the woods to viciously stab her in the name of Slenderman, Joe would go on to do several interviews about the subject because he lived nearby, mentioning that he was part of the creepypasta community on a greater level and making sure to get links back to his website. In more recent years, OldManMurphy has tried to make sort of a podcast name for himself on Twitch by streaming absolute brain rot that could not be any more obviously targeted toward a young audience.
My penis is small and it does not work. I live with my mom and she hates my guts.
Speaking of Donald Trump, and I'll talk about this during the match. It has to do.
Nothing bigger than my massive winner is my willingness to lie at its size.
Now, if you have watched my video about the creepypasta pedophile ring that was existing on Skype back in the 2010s, then you recognize Joe Jozwowski as one of the people implicated in this child grooming group. Specifically, Joe Jozwowski was offering to have children in a Skype group, quote-unquote hop on pop, a reference to joining him for sexual chats one-on-one. Jozwowski was a sex pest toward other narrators of adult age, including publicly wishing they would die if they rebuked his advances. So as one might expect, a Twitch live stream podcast that seems to be almost entirely nothing but Zoomer brain rot seems a little out of place for a man in his 50s who has a track record of inappropriate conversations with underage girls. Due to this fact, someone in his chat asked him about the allegations against himself, Mr. Creepypasta, Creeps McPasta, and so on.
Hey, Herman, mind if I ask if you are well? Oh, hey, Herman, we're not going to talk about that. Herman, I'm gonna tell you right now, we're not going to be talking about that. We're here to have fun. We're here to just, no drama, no nothing. And if you want to keep on talking about that, you know where the exit is.
Naturally, since nothing that Joe Jozwowski has said in the past has been true, of course this was also a lie, and he would go on to discuss the topic.
Alright, there we go! I'm not dodging anything, I'm here to have fun, but clearly you are not. Bye. I'm sorry, but you know what? It's so weird. That was so weird. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. It's not about that I'm dodging any allegations, because number one, the allegations have been going on for 10 plus years.
Yes, Joe, you were trying to have sexual chats with children 10 years ago. This took place when you were in your 40s as opposed to your 50s. What a tremendous difference. This is an argument that is often made when someone knows they've done wrong. They argue about the timing as opposed to whether or not they did it. The fact remains, though, that when these actions are not addressed or admitted to, and the person in question goes on to lie for 10 years straight, that is a very clear indicator that they have not grown or changed as a person, making the distinction of time completely irrelevant.
They've been trying. The one guy that has said whatever is being said, he's been trying to do this for 10 plus years.
As a side note, one thing you'll notice whenever any of the people in this Skype group talk about me, they refuse to mention my name. Now, this is less about my personal ego and more of an interesting fact that points out they do not want anyone to be able to look up any of the information about what's been going on.
He says something, people find out that he's a piece of shit, and then he disappears. And then he waits for a whole new audience, and then he says the same shit, and then people find out he's a piece of shit, and he disappears. It's been going on for 10 years, okay?
If you would take a moment, please write in the comments below exactly when you remember me quote-unquote disappearing. Technically speaking, my channel has experienced nothing but upward growth since its creation. Now, of course, when you're not focused on growth and kind of just do whatever you feel like, it climbs a bit slower. Of course, the real reason that Joe is making this claim about me appearing every few years to make random accusations and then disappearing back into the night is so that he can frame me as some sort of boogeyman that's simply trying to cancel him over and over, as opposed to someone who's had a consistent message across those 10 years.
For someone to come in and just say, hey, I know you're doing your own thing that has nothing to do with any of this, but I just want to disrupt what you're doing to talk about, to make me the focal point of what you're talking about. That's a dick move. It's a dick move.
That, or it could be a viewer, or even potential viewer, who has concerns about allegations they've heard toward you. Everyone has often heard YouTubers say, please do not go and harass this person. I personally feel like that goes without saying at this point, and everyone should be by default not harassing each other. But I will say that when allegations arise, with both testimony and evidence behind them, simply refusing to answer the allegations in any way does nothing more than incite people to continue asking questions.
So, oh, absolutely. I know exactly. And they're gonna go back and say, and they're gonna go back to this person and say, oh yeah, he didn't want to talk about it, and then he banned me. So of course, I'm like, no, I just don't want to deal with you. So we're gonna do this again.
I actually think at this point that it's less about not wanting to deal with a person in chat and more about not wanting to deal with the allegations, given the fact that for 10 years, by your own words, you have refused to deal with the allegations. Now granted, not everyone has to answer every silly thing that they're accused of. However, I think that child grooming with evidence and testimony reaches the bar of something that probably should be addressed.
Yeah! Okay, I mean, you know what? I don't mind talking about it. I really don't.
Place your bets now on whether Joe will talk about the allegations against him or whether he'll talk about how unfair he's being treated by an internet boogeyman.
It was... Yeah, wait until the next match, goddammit. Alright, here we go. Alright, see? And there we go. Alright, so... And I'm gonna take my headphones off so I can concentrate on this. So when I was part of the Creepypasta community, and that ended 2014, 2015.
Actually, the last video on your channel that has to do with Creepypasta is from 2019. And I'm not exactly sure why you felt the need to even lie about it. Like, that itself is several years in the past, so why make it 2014, 2015? That was the height of Joe Jozwowski's notoriety in the Creepypasta community because of the Slender Man stabbings. I don't know why he's lying about when he left the community. It's very strange, but I guess most of what he says isn't true, so why not just lie about this?
That's all you need to know about this, all right? That's the big thing about this, is that I haven't been a part of the Creepypasta community since 2014, 2015. I can't remember. It was one of those years I got out.
So the quote-unquote big thing to know about these accusations is that you left the Creepypasta community in 2014 or 2015, which is not true. Not any claim that you actually didn't groom children. Like, it's a very odd stance to take that, you know, he's being accused of grooming children, accused of being a pedophile, based on evidence, based on testimony as well. And his response is, well, the big thing you need to know is that I left the Creepypasta community. Like, what, that... Okay.
Alright, I want to say 2015. So it's been over 10 years. Alright? There was... somebody who started these allegations against a couple narrators and an author, and I'm included in that we were groomers and pedophiles.
So, Mr. Creepypasta and Creepsmcpasta talking in a 2013 podcast recording about a erotic fan fiction that Creepsmcpasta had a 14-year-old girl write about himself and her having sex, as well as other underaged female narrators, is just a rumor, supposedly. Mr. Creepypasta drawing a picture of Creepsmcpasta and a 16-year-old female narrator about to have sex while dressed in their underwear and posting it online. That's just a rumor, apparently. Mr. Creepypasta sending a thong and a corset to an underage girl. Just a rumor, apparently. Creepsmcpasta talking about meeting up in real life with that same 14-year-old girl and saying, quote, what happened in London stayed in London. That's all just a massive rumor. Jozwowski offering to have one-on-one sex chats with children on Skype, confirmed by another member of that Skype group after someone came forward saying that she was one of the little girls he propositioned. Apparently that's just a quote-unquote rumor. Give me an absolute goddamn motherfucking break.
And there wasn't anything to it. It was just some people that didn't like us that said, you know what, I will help spread these rumors.
Boy, doesn't it really just reassure you when someone says that there's no evidence of something that is literally recorded on audio from a 2013 podcast.
And then this one individual just grabbed onto that because when this individual was an author, he was fantastic. He was an absolutely great author.
Uh-oh, looks like somebody's going against the group narrative.
And then he was humiliated and then stopped being an author and just turned into Jerry Springer.
First of all, I don't know why you picked Jerry Springer when Chris Hansen was right there to compare me to. But secondly, when did I stop being an author? So this is the problem. A lot of people think that my sole focus is on quote-unquote drama videos or quote-unquote exposing quote-unquote pedophiles like quote-unquote Jozwowski. But the fact of the matter is I've still been writing this entire time. I've been working on video games. I've been doing all sorts of stuff. So if all you know about me is the drama stuff, it might be because you are entirely focused on drama. So in other words, Joey Boy here might be a little bit too focused on what I'm saying about him and not seeing the bigger picture of what actually is going on. Which, you know, frankly, I can understand that because I'm pretty much the only person who has consistently been talking about the fact that about 10 years ago he was grooming children.
And he just completely changed his identity. And what happens is that he will perpetuate all these rumors. He put together his document, right? Whatever. And then people say, oh my God, I can't believe this. Oh my God, I can't believe this. And as this sits, he will just be him. He will just be himself. And people will find out that this individual that started all of these rumors is just a horrible human being.
All right, everybody, mark your calendars, mark this date. Today is the day that we found out for an absolute fact that the Creepypasta pedophile Skype group, including Mr. Creepypasta, Creeps McPasta, Creepypasta Jr., OldManMurphy, aka Jozwowski, and all the others, is the source of this bullshit right here. How many times have you heard someone talking about one of my videos or one of my stories, and you'll see somebody commenting saying, yeah, you know, he's an okay author, he's, whatever, but really, he's just an asshole, he's just a monster, he's just a terrible person. And if you ever prod these people a little bit and ask, well, why is he an asshole? Why is he a terrible person? What's wrong with that Slimebeast guy? They'll always do the same thing. They'll say, well, he's kind of rude. Kind of rude is the answer. Yeah, those guys might be, doing this or that. Who's to say what any of these people did with children, 10 years ago? The fact of the matter is, Slimebeast he's rude. He's rude. So can you really trust what he says? Well, the fact of the matter is, it's not what I say. It's what you yourself can go and look up. You can look up any of the information that I've provided, posts on Facebook pages, posts in old comments, on YouTube pages, different places like that, archive.org. You can check all of this stuff out for yourself, and I always make sure to let people know exactly where they can find this information, because you don't have to take my word. I would prefer people don't just take my word. I would prefer people look up and confirm anything I say, because that'll just only solidify it more. But it's very interesting. It's very interesting that we now actually know, essentially, I'm just, I'm taking a shot here, a little bit of a shot in the dark. We kind of know now where this has come from, where all of these people who show up and randomly in these various threads will say, yeah, Plagued Moth may be a pedo, but Slimebeast, also a bad person. And then you say, well, why? And they say, well, he's rude. Rude under what circumstances? Well, I saw that somebody left a rude comment on one of his videos, and Slimebeast was rude back to that guy. It's like, it's like, how desperate do you have to be for that to be the narrative?
And then they will just say, oh, you're a piece of shit. No wonder you want to spread rumors to destroy others' reputation. Yeah, no one's buying it anymore. And then he'll just delete all of his videos, he'll get his account banned, and he'll go underground for about a year.
Alright, does anybody out there remember the time I deleted all of my videos and got banned from YouTube? No, me neither. He might be talking about me moving my videos to an archive channel, which I do very sporadically, randomly at certain times across years. Basically to reduce the number of drama videos on my channel, to just reduce the ability for someone to false flag shit. So he may be talking about me archiving videos as deleting them, but they're still not deleted because all they are is privated. But yeah, banned from YouTube. I've been banned from YouTube apparently, folks. It's as much news to me as it is to you.
And then he'll start it all over again. This has been going on for 10 years. If any of this was true, if any of these allegations were true...
Don't say the police would be involved. Don't say the police would be involved. Don't say the police would be involved.
There would be police reports, lawsuits, and, anything doing with law enforcement. Even if it wasn't pursued, there would still be say, hey, do you have any information on so-and-so about this? No. It never happened. So, that's that. That is all of that. And so, yeah. Anyway, moving on.
The police have been called on you people, but the police cannot do anything to Creeps McPasta because the police are in the United States with the victim. They cannot arrest somebody in the UK. Further, has anyone out there watching this right now read an article? And the article headline says, pedophile arrested with 300 terabytes of illegal material. How do you think that happens? How do you think that a pedophile goes along long enough to get 300 terabytes of pedophilic material saved to his external hard drives? The reason for that is that the law moves very slowly and often things slip through the cracks. Especially moderately successful YouTubers talking about sex with little girls. Like, does anybody out there think that there would be a police report and a trial for Joe Jozwowski in a Skype group saying to a group of 14-year-old, 13-year-old, 16-year-old, 12-year-old girls, saying, does anyone here want to come hop on pop? Like, granted, that is a crime. Granted, that is something that should be handled by the police. But does anybody actually think that if you called your local police and said, hey, there's a guy on Skype who just told a bunch of teenage girls to hop on pop, do you think they would just, like, hop in a fucking Range Rover and drive over 12 citizens on their way to arrest this guy? Like, seriously, do you think they're going to burst down his door and drag him out in handcuffs over that? The fact of the matter is, a ton of this shit falls through the cracks because it's not enough. It's not enough to build a case. It's not enough for Mr. Creepypasta to send a thong to a little girl. It's not enough for Creepypasta to say, what happens in London stays in London, to a little girl. A lot of this is just not enough to put somebody in prison. And the fact that it's not enough to put somebody in prison does not equal being morally correct, and it does not equal being innocent of what's being said. So fuck Joe Jozwowski, fuck all of these motherfuckers who say, well, why am I not in prison? You should be, you motherfucker. You're not in prison because you're fucking lucky. Got a little worked up there. Sorry about that. Let's get back to Joe Jozwowski and his stunning commentary on his very professional adult podcast for adults.
Moving on, the thing with Trump that I want to talk about, though, during the White House Correspondents' Dinner, Wolf Blitzer presented the award for excellence in...
Fuck her right in the pussy!
Emotional damage!
And I can tell you right now, whoever was in here, they were doing what they could to just get a sound bite. That's what they wanted.
God damn it. Well, I think we might be at the end of any sort of statement from Joe Jozwowski about his past of grooming children. He never once denied it throughout this entire stream, you may notice. All he did was say it was 10 years ago and Slimebeast is a bad person, but of course without mentioning my name. So yeah, didn't deny it, didn't give any position really, just said it was 10 years ago and said it was rumors. Now rumors can be true, so that means nothing. But yeah, that's about it, I guess, from Joe Jozwowski here. Back to your regularly scheduled stream.